What's up guys, I'm Simon here with TEQSPORT Off-Road, and today we're going to be replacing my outer tie rods, and we're going to be replacing them with a heavier duty upgrade. These are going to be our Billet Heim outer tie rods, available here at TEQSPORT. So essentially what this is a much heavier duty replacement for your factory outer tie rod. So instead of using a ball joint, this uses a 3/4 inch Heim with some stainless conical hardware, grade 12.9 bolt, and you have the option of either a Billet 6061 threaded body or a Billet 304 stainless body. Today we're going to be doing that 304 stainless body, and these things are going to be pretty much bulletproof. This is going to be a much more serviceable version of what's on there as well. Not only is it stronger, it's just easier to take care of. So it comes with these boots that are easy to peel back, and we'll touch these up occasionally with some Tri-Flow or some dry lube, basically some non-petroleum based lubricant. In this case we're going to be using a PTFE lube, and that's going to keep these things healthy and strong and just give us a nice peace of mind when we're out beating on this truck on the trails. So with that, we'll go ahead and start our install. So we'll go ahead and disconnect our factory outer. Basically just going to grab the cotter pin, pull that out. All right, and then got a 22, so we'll go ahead and disconnect that. I'm actually going to leave this nut threaded. I'm going to thread it up to the top here and leave it just kind of protecting these last few threads, and I'm going to hammer down on the nut and separate this. We're not reusing this tie rod, so we don't really have to worry about damaging the threads, but either way, this will make it easy to get it out. Actually, one thing I'm going to do, so we got this separated, but I'm going to leave it somewhat partially connected, and we'll go ahead and break this loose. Got an adjustable wrench here. We're going to go ahead and break this inner jam nut loose. There it is, nice and easy. All right, we can take this off. You can see that boot's all busted. So we won't have to worry about that in the future since we don't have a boot that traps grease. We're using a dry lube. Just be cleaner and easier to take care of. My inner tie rod actually still feels mostly healthy here. Don't feel a lot of play in that. No noises or anything, so we're in pretty good shape. Now we've got our inner jam nut sleeve here. This is functionally the same as the OEM inner jam nut, but it's made out of stainless, and it sleeves up over the inner tie rod a bit. That just offers you a little bit more protection, and it looks really cool. So we're about ready to finish up the install, but before we do that, I want to make sure you guys know how this whole assembly goes together. Essentially, we have our Heim end that you see here, our grade 12.9 bolt. This comes with the boot pre-installed. You can run it with or without the boot, totally up to you. If you live up north, you know, somewhere with salted roads, I would definitely recommend running the boot. But if you live down south where you can just pressure wash this like we do, you might leave the boot off and just make sure you keep those Heims clean. In this case, we are going to run the boot, and before we install it, I'm going to go ahead and drip some Tri-Lube down into this boot, shake it around. You can also use an aerosol. That makes this a little easier when it's on the truck. So in this case we use Tri-Flow. That's a PTFE based lubricant, but you can use different types. Super Lube is a good one. Just make sure that it is not petroleum based, that it's a PTFE based, and you should be in good shape. So we'll shake this around, let it get all up in there, and get it installed. So put our body back on. And if I wanted to, theoretically, I could use this like a double adjuster when I'm doing my alignment, but I don't think it really makes sense to do that. I like to essentially just tighten this up, get it completely solid, and not really worry about it. Instead, I'll do all the adjustments just like I normally would on the inner tie rod by threading that inner in and out. and just leave this jam nut tight all the time, and then we won't have to worry about it coming loose. So we got that installed. Let's go ahead and thread the body up onto the inner tie rod. So the nut that comes on the grade 12-9 bolt is a distorted thread lock nut. We opted for that over a nylock so that it wouldn't degrade if it's out in a harsh climate. So just be aware of that, make sure that the distorted side goes up so you can get a few threads on there first, just like that, and now it locks up. We'll go ahead and line this up with our knuckle, spindle. There it is, that seats really nice. We've got our washer, we'll throw that on top. Throw our bolt back, or our nut back down. So flip that. All right, so we're looking good here. The conical is seated nicely. Now we just gotta tighten this up, and one thing I wanna be super aware of when I'm tightening this is, so the bolt that runs through this whole assembly threads into this inside piece to keep it self-contained, and that works great, keeping it all in one piece, but we just wanna make sure that we don't accidentally back that out by just running an impact on this side. When we tighten this up, I'm gonna hold a wrench on the bottom side here on the bolt head, and that's just gonna make sure that when I run the impact down from this side, I don't accidentally back this bolt out, because it'll still hold itself together and be safe, but it'll clunk and make a lot of noise, and you'll know that something's wrong. So just to avoid that, we'll hold a wrench here and tighten this up. All right, so this lower bolt head is gonna be a 22. We'll hold a wrench on that. We'll run our 21 from the top and get that nice and tight. So we're looking pretty good. We'll go ahead and get this tightened up so we can drive it over to the alignment rack, but in the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and knock out the other side. Same exact process. All right, guys, so we just wrapped up the install of the Heim outers on my Toyota Tacoma. This is gonna be a huge improvement over the OEM factory outer tie rod. Essentially, we've got our 3/4 inch Heim. We opted for the 304 stainless body, also available on 6061, which is gonna be plenty strong as well. But it's gonna give us a huge peace of mind. When we're out on the trails, we know that we've got a stronger solution there, and we know that it's gonna be a lot more serviceable, be able to get in there, keep those things lubricated and working nicely. So what we need to do now is get over to the alignment rack, get this thing straightened out, and then we can hit the trails. So if you want a kit like this for your Toyota, you can get this at TEQSPORT.com.